Hello, Malas. Another day, another load of bullshit coming from our president, Donald Trump, who has posted this on his social media, Truth Social. He posted this. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky is boasting on the front page of the Wall Street Journal that Ukraine will not legally recognize the occupation of Crimea. There is nothing to talk about here. Logically. This statement is very harmful to the peace negotiations with Russia, in that Crimea was lost years ago under the auspices of President Barack Hussein Obama. Let's discuss this. First of all, what peace negotiations with Russia are you talking about if you even stated this, that you are withdrawing from negotiations because Ukraine doesn't want to do what you are telling us to do? And what you're telling us to do is basically give up on all occupied territories by Russia. You said that. Marco Rubio said that. All your puppies who you hired said that. So what exactly the statement is harming if you already said that you're pulling out of this deal? Because Ukraine obviously doesn't want to take your amazing proposal that looks exactly the same way as Russian proposal. Basically, give up everything that was occupied, including people who are on those territories. Stop fighting back. How does your peace negotiation and your deal look any different from Russia's deal? Why do we need you to be a mediator between a shitty deal that Russia already proposed to us many times? Crimea was lost years ago. Crimea wasn't lost years ago. Crimea was occupied and annexed illegally, that nobody has recognized as a legal thing, including your own country, the United States of America. How would you like it if Mexico took over Texas, Cuba took over Florida, and Russia took over Alaska? You probably shouldn't fight as well, right? You should give it away because it's lost. No negotiations, just give it back to those who took it. Another interesting part is that he mentioned that it was lost during the presidency of Barack Obama. I see the tendency of Trump blaming everyone and everything on everything that happened around because Trump wasn't president. If I was president, then Jesus wouldn't be crucified. If I was president, 9/11 wouldn't happen. If I was president, include another bullshit. Because he thinks that Trump is America. He divides himself from everybody who was before him. Listen, Mr. Donny, you're just a different manager, different face in the history of entire country. You represent the country, and anything that happens during anybody's presidency is the business of entire country, including you. When 9/11 happened and George Bush went into the war with the terrorists who attacked the United States of America, why was it your business then, so many years after, to go and unalive another terrorist who was involved in 9/11 attack, who was still threatening the United States of America? Why was it your business if it wasn't during your presidency when 9/11 happened? Oh, it doesn't work like that. Because the United States of America still was under the threat. Same fucking way how Ukraine is still under the Russian threat, including Ukrainian territory, Crimea. So no, it's not just Obama to blame. It's you too. Or was during your presidency, and you've done nothing to stop it. You already proved you are incapable. Nobody is asking Zelensky to recognize Crimea as Russian territory, but you do ask to give up on those territories, therefore recognize it as Russia. But if he wants Crimea, why didn't they fight for it 11 years ago when it was handed over to Russia without a shot being fired? People were killed. In fact, 6 people were killed during Crimean annexation. Ukraine had been in the most difficult situation at that moment. We just lived through the very horrific events on Maidan. The bloody revolution, when our president who has escaped to Russia and his cronies shot more than 100 people on Maidan, people who were protesting against his bullshit policies. He escaped. Ukraine was left without the head of the country. The commander of chief fled to Russia. Russia moved instantly to occupy Crimea and starting war in East. Why Ukraine didn't fight back? Because our previous president did everything to disarm our army. It was in such condition that our soldiers who had to be mobilized to go fight in eastern Ukraine had literally no weapons, no even uniform. Everything was so old, sold, and completely stolen from the warehouses. Yanukovych was preparing Ukraine to be completely unarmed, disarmed, to be handed on a golden plate to Putin. Let's not forget that the United States of America also disarmed Ukraine from nukes. That's how it happened. That's how Russia got so bold and invaded Ukraine to begin with. Imagine you just got in a horrible car crash, barely clinging to life, and here is your brother stabbing you in the back and annexing your entire house, or part of the house. And then the president of the country, the superpower, has the audacity to say, why didn't you fight for your house? Let's read next. The area also houses for many years before the Obama handover major Russian submarine bases. So fucking what? Does that give any legal grounds to any other country to invade a sovereign state? No. What if you had somebody's base in your country? Does it give them legal ground to invade you? How many foreign factories and plants and companies are based in the United States of America? Do you think they are allowed to invade and call these territories and states their own? No. Let's continue. The inflammatory statements like Zelensky that makes it so difficult to settle this war. You mean force Ukraine to hand to Russia peacefully everything they want without him opposing? Of course it's difficult when a victim is fighting back. And here's the police officer standing looking how a thug is mugging a victim. He's like, stop fighting, give him your wallet and just let him run away. You're so difficult to make this peaceful. He has nothing to boast about. I don't know. I disagree. Because last time I checked, the giant, enormous, second best country in the world can't take over a tiny Ukraine. Ukraine is number one in operating drones, making them extremely interesting to operate on the water, the baby drones, in the sky, the drones that are dropping things, explode, they come back, the mother drones that carry so many different drones and come back, and so on and so forth. And many other countries come to Ukraine to learn this new thing, the new war tactics that are progressing nowadays. Last time I checked, you don't know how to do that, and we do. We do have things to boast about. We also have destroyed the Russian Navy without having a Navy. How about that? Can you boast about that? No, you can't. We're not only fighting one nuclear country, Russia, we're fighting a second nuclear country, North Korea, that is helping physically with boots on the ground. We're a non-nuclear country, and we're fighting two nuclear countries, with a third country who is trying to bully us to surrender. How about that? The situation for Ukraine is dire. He can have peace or he can fight for another 3 years before losing the whole country. First of all, Zelensky isn't Ukraine just like you aren't America. Zelensky is the manager of Ukraine. It's not Zelensky who is fighting with Russia. It's Ukraine who is fighting with Russia. How about that? And it's not Zelensky who is going to fight another 3 years to possibly lose entire country. It's us, Ukrainians, who are fighting. We might lose entire country simply because you're helping Russia. Next joke. I have nothing to do with Russia. We heard that before. But have much to do with wanting to save, on average, 5,000 Russian and Ukrainian soldiers a week who are dying for no reason whatsoever. He wants to save Russian soldiers. People who came to invade, loot, rape, kill, torture, steal, lie, and so on. He wants to save their lives. He wants to save lives of those who came to our country. Why don't you take your own passion and save lives of those immigrants who are coming to this country? They're coming to your country same way as Russians coming to us. You claim they're invading the United States of America. Why don't you save their lives? Why do you deport them back where it's unsafe? Putting literally in the same sentence the aggressor and the victim, the Ukrainian soldiers who are defending their own home from those who came to destroy the home. It has nothing to do with Russia. Yeah, of course. Except you're talking to Putin without humiliating him in public, secretly talking for long hours, meeting with them back and forth all the time, not putting any sanctions on them, and of course not having any trade war with them. Because of course there is no need to put trade tariffs on Russia because we're not doing business with Russia, which is a bullshit because Russia is doing business here. And finally, the statement made by Zelensky today will do nothing but prolong the killing field. Of course, it's the victim who is still fighting for their own life, is guilty one, and absolutely in charge of prolonging the fight, but not the aggressor who keeps attacking and attacking and attacking instead of just getting the fuck out of Ukraine. The moment Russia stops invading Ukraine and bombing us, the war will be over. Period. But no, and nobody wants that. We are very close to a deal. But the man with no cards to play should now finally get it done. Oh no, little Donnie, we do have cards. We control some Russian territories. We have a lot of Russian prisoners of war. And the most painful loss for Russia is their oil refineries that we are so well targeting almost every week. In the past few years, we've destroyed so many of them. Look at this. Look at this beautiful picture. This is exactly why they asked for that 30-day ceasefire without targeting the what? Energy infrastructure. Because why? Because their oil refineries is what gives them money for this war. And they were begging you to force Ukraine to stop targeting that. They didn't ask to stop targeting the ammunition depots. You would think that would be logical, right? Or, I don't know, some buildings they care about. No. They wanted oil refineries to be stop targeted because that's what hurts them the most. We do have cards. Also targeting a lot of their airfields constantly. We're gonna destroy them all their air force. Country that doesn't have their own jets. It is you, little Danny, who has no cards. You were boasting how you're gonna end this war in 24 hours. Huge lie so many people bought. You were saying that you will end the war. You control Putin. He respects you. He adores you. He likes you. And what do we see? He spits on you. He laughs in your face. Every time you say, the deal is gonna be this week, it's gonna be done. Nothing is done. Nothing is ever done. Every time you come out of those talks with Russia with some promises that Russia will stop, there will be an Easter peace truce, there will be this, there will be that. Russia keeps bombing and bombing Ukraine, showing the whole world how much respect they have in you. None. Zero. They're laughing at you. You're pathetic in their eyes. They're laughing at your absolute incapability of stopping them. Because smart, normal people know you can't have deals with Russia. The only way to stop the war is force Russia to stop the war. Not forcing the victim to stop fighting back, but to stop the aggressor. Russia knows only one language, language of strength, not language of sucking deep. I look forward to being able to help Ukraine and Russia. Why does Russia need the help? Why does the occupier need the help? Did Nazi Germany needed the help? Get out of this complete and total mess that would never have started if I were president. Your ego is bigger than the Grand Canyon. Your ego is bigger than all waterfalls combined with Niagara Falls together. Your ego is brighter as Las Vegas lights together. I swear to God, it's a full-time job to sit and read through all your tweets and your posts and everything and try to debunk them to people who are believing you. It's exhausting. It's exhausting to have a president like you. It's exhausting and scary to live in the world where you are the president.